Hey everyone, this is Rashad with Crypto Loaners, and wanted to go over where I'm at with Cryptohopper right now, and also discuss if you have Binance, some of the issues you may be facing currently, and what you can do to kind of get around some of that. I had upgraded to the Kangaroo version to give myself more coins and also to receive all the signals and buy based on those, which has done pretty well for the most part. I've had some pretty good gains with Mining Hamster. I've had some losses too, which I'll probably show you later if I have some time. But Mining Hamster in general has done pretty decently as a whole. Binance basically had gone down for about 2 whole days, roughly, I think. During that time period, you were unable to buy and sell or anything. Cryptohopper just did not work with it at all. And now that it came back up, there's a large gap in the the trading map, if you or chart basically, in Binance. So if you looked at a particular coin, in theory there should be about 2 days of an empty gap, which is causing issues with different strategies. So the only strategies that are currently actually working, and I selected all of them just so you can see here, the only ones that you can actually kind of use are SMA, the Kaufman adaptive moving average, and the relative strength index. So if you have anything else that is required for a purchase, it's not going to work, and it's probably not going to work for maybe up to 2 weeks. Like, it depends on how long it takes to and if maybe Binance can correct some things. I don't know, but I'd expect that this is going to be a bit of time before this gets corrected. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through what I'm going to do, I think, for my strategy during this time period. I'm just showing you my strategy. I don't recommend you copy it. I haven't fully tested what I'm about to do. What I had done, actually, let me show you what I had done before I get into that. I just had RSI on, and I had RSI set to 30 previously, and it made these 2 purchases here. So some small gains. This ETH purchase was something I did manually a while back, just because I tend to find that ETH will eventually just go up at some point in relative to the Bitcoin pair. So at some point it'll make me money. Right now it's slightly down, and whatever, it's not a big deal. It'll probably be profitable later. It actually was slightly profitable, but just not enough to trigger my stop loss arm. So, all right, let's go back to the config. Missed that. Go to the config, and we'll go to the adaptive settings. And again, guys, definitely do your own research. Don't just copy what I'm doing. It's better if you learn and understand what it is that I'm doing here. I can explain some of it, and I'm not a master at this by any stretch of the imagination. So right now my RSI oversold. I have set at 25. I could set it at 20. I'm a little afraid that maybe I'll miss a few signals here and there. I might even, if I'm going to combine it with Kaufman, I might even raise it to 30 again. You know what? Yeah. I'll put it at 30. And I'll require Kaufman, so I have some confluence there, and it's not just buying anything and everything. And I think it depends on the market. Like, sometimes I think that maybe RSI on its own is good enough, but I'd rather pair it with something just to not buy just anything, because I might wind up tanking. Something may wind up tanking, and I'd rather have at least some type of confluence, so that I'm not just buying every single thing and winding up with a bunch of bags. I may still, who knows? but I have a bit of a better shot at doing this. one of the other things I started messing with, because I got the kangaroo, I now have the option for arbitrage. I've turned it on. It has made a couple of buys using it, not too many. It works in a very weird way that I'm still learning how this is working. I think Mighty Miner said he was going to make a video explaining that, so I'll let him get into that. I won't deal with that at the moment. You should definitely check his videos out if you're not following him. I'm sure you must be if you're watching this. He's doing a good job of covering Cryptohopper. Definitely a much better job than I am right now. I just don't have a whole lot of time on my hands at the moment. So yeah, most everything else is the same, I think. One of the other changes, I kind of put a stop loss on here at 8%. Just in doing other back testing previously, I found that if something goes below 8%, generally it does not come back. If it comes back, it's going to take forever, and I don't want that holding in my system for too long. I'd rather just take the loss at that point instead of having it eat up any potential resources where if I've run out of buys that I'm just holding bags. We'll see if I change that. I mean, that's something I could go back and forth on. Currently, my ARM trailing stop loss, and some people are confused about what this is. I think I started to explain in my last video, and I stopped myself because every time I try to explain it, I get a bit flustered. So let's use an even whole number to make life easy here. Let's say this is at 1.0%. What happens is if I hit 1% profit, it will arm my stop loss at that point. And this percentage here basically says, okay, if I get to 1% and it drops down to 0.5% gain, just sell it right there because there's a danger that it might go back into the red and I might not recover at that point. It might turn into a big loss. But if it keeps going up, let's say it gets to 2%, it's still above, it's still already touched my 1%, so it's armed at that point. So if it gets up to 2% and then drops down to 1.5%, that's where the sell will occur. So if it gets up to 3% and then drops down to 2.5%, that's where the sell will occur. So that's kind of what these settings mean. For now, I put it at 0.75. I might increase it. A lot of people have things that are different than this. They might have it at 3% and 3% to arm, and then 1 as a stop loss. I'm playing it safe, and in doing so, maybe I'm losing out because my gains are small, but I do have gains. So it's something that's definitely some numbers that I might play with more over time. I just been playing it safe, and maybe I'm playing it too safe, honestly. But that's just how I've been doing things for now. So yeah, we take a look at the dashboard, see where things are. Like this, because it's over 0.75, this is already armed. Like if we look here, it'll show you what my current stop loss rate is. So if the coin armed itself, and this is the current rate, so if it drops back down to this, then it'll trigger a sale. Hopefully, it'll just keep going up, and it won't, and the stop loss won't happen anytime soon. I'm hoping it stays positive for a while. The BCC here, this guy hasn't tripped it yet, so it says it hasn't been armed at this point. Hopefully, it'll just keep going up as well. It'll pass that arm rate, and eventually, at some point, when it's in a good positive, it will sell at that point. Just to show you guys my trade history. Some of this is going to look a little messy due to some of the Binance problems yesterday. So you can see there's some small profits here due to the small trailing arm. This was a really nice buy from Mining Hamster this morning. If I go further back, you're going to see some red. Like, this was a mining hamster buy here that hurt quite a bit. It was a really quick buy too. Like, it came in. Actually, this doesn't sound quite right as far as the time frame, because I swear it came in and I feel like it sold like super quick. Like, it just took a nosedive from the moment it was purchased till it hit my stop loss. Oh, you know what it was actually? It took a nosedive immediately, but it took a while to actually hit my stop loss. Like, it went down to, like, I think -5 or -6 within a minute. So, you definitely will have some losses with mining hamster. This loss here was due to the Binance problem. The sad thing is that this purchase here was positive before the market closed. Binance closed, it reopened, and then I had already been armed because I was so up before it closed that when it reopened, it opened at a negative, and I wound up having this as a loss. So, yeah, interesting stuff. All right, I think I'll end the video for now here. If you like it, subscribe, hit the like button. Yeah, leave some comments, leave any feedback. Thank you very much for checking it out.